So, Rob, let's get this party started. What do you do for a business?
I do a couple of things. So I'm quite into walking and hiking. So I set up a business which not only supplies walking and hiking equipment, but we also promote the many benefits for both mental and physical health. There's as humans, we have a big connection to nature, and I've experienced it when I go walking. It's that sort of feeling that you get being outside in the fresh air, in amongst the trees, just out there. And I put a meme together a few months ago, just saying, take your soul home, which is effectively what you're doing when you go outside and go outdoors. So that's what Peakeze is all about. The products is kind of a way to monetize the business, but it's really about promoting that that sort of escape, really, and getting out there on your own.
Tell me that phrase again. Take your soul home.
Take your soul home. Yeah, that was one of the things I came up with a few months ago.
That is beautiful, man.
And the strap line, leave a footprint, it kind of covers a multitude of things, really. So you leave a footprint on life, don't you? You do certain things in your life. And there's a big thing which I really don't like at the moment. People talk about being a better version of yourself. Now, my belief is that, if you're yourself, you're yourself. It's just about being happy. And I get that happiness when I go outside, and it's that back to nature. Obviously, the air is cleaner when you're out in the countryside because you're away from all the smog on the roads and stuff. So that's what Peakeze is all about. I've also got another business, Salesology. What we do there is we work with small and medium-sized enterprises to effectively help them sell more stuff. Okay. And that could be done in many different ways. But just to sort of summarize the three ways in which we work with companies, we can help support your existing sales team and maybe streamline some processes, put some systems in place to help them do more, to streamline things and help them to work a bit smarter. We can become that sales team, and we've done that on a number of occasions where we actually come in, we'll do some sales activity, we'll help you to try and find that market, and that's usually done with a view to taking on some full-time sales staff. So that's kind of a test and measure process that we offer to SMEs as well. We can bridge gaps within sales teams. If you've got certain activities that you're struggling to do and you want to do more of, we can come in and sort of bolster the existing sales team. And what we've been doing a lot of just lately is very sort of specific projects. So an SME will come to me and say, right, we want to get in to this customer, or we want to get into this market. I've done quite a bit of this with European companies trying to get into the UK market. And we do that as well. So that's kind of a specific project, which we put in measurable goals right at the start. This is what we want to achieve. This is what we want to attack. And we come back to it sort of 2-3 months later and say, right, what have we done? What have we achieved? Is it working? Is it going to be viable moving forward? So those are kind of the three ways. We either help the sales team, we become the sales team, or we work on specific projects to help you get into different markets for different customers.
Bloody hell, man! That sounds really interesting, especially the European companies. Do you get free travel to go see them in their head office first?
Not recently, no, because obviously we've all been stuck at home, haven't we? But hopefully,
that's essential travel, isn't it? If you go to Barcelona or Jamaica or somewhere like that, do
you reckon I get away with
Jamaica's not in Europe.
Eventually, that's going to happen. But yeah, my hands. It's all been kind of done virtually, a little bit like this, over Zoom and over those types of meetings, just getting things in place and discussing. But yeah, it's kind of opened the world up, hasn't it? It's one of the positive things I think that has come out of the pandemic is that people have realised that actually you don't have to be sat in a room with someone to do business with them. And I think the world has it's still huge, but it's people have realised it's become a smaller, more accessible.
It is, and we've actually had this accessibility for a long time, but just that we never, because we've been forced. If you think about the way that technology is used now, it's probably jumped forward 5 years. We're maybe even 10. I know with e-commerce and online shopping, I think we're 10 years ahead of where we should be right now because of COVID. In terms of the amount of people now say, right, instead of thinking I'm going to the shop, it's like I'm going online. So it's a good thing. I think people embracing technology. It's keeping the synapses firing, and even my nan's got a mobile phone with like search on there. She's like, "Oh, we want to look for some plantain." So, it's pretty obvious what inspired Peakies. Your love of the outside, your love of nature, and I completely buy into that because if I'm out walking in the right place, obviously I can walk for bloody miles, and you're, like you say, you're embracing everything, the sounds, the smells, the noises. But what inspired you to start Salesology?
Being totally honest, I was made redundant due to the pandemic last year, and a couple of small businesses that I was networking with at my BNI meeting. They offered me, they said, come and do some work for us while you're looking for another job. Word got out, it kind of spread. It got bigger and bigger. And now it's become this kind of beast that almost has a life of its own. Fantastic. But being totally, I wish I could say, look, I sat down and I came up with a business plan and I spotted a niche and I did this and I did that, and it was nothing like that at all.
You don't have to make excuses, because what you've done is you've taken a what could have been a catastrophe and turned it into an opportunity.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if you look at life anyway, in general, that's what tends to happen when you have something which you think is bad. If you kind of really scratch below the surface, sometimes it turns out to be a positive. Yeah, so,
I don't think change is ever bad. It's what you make of it. And that was kind of a forced change that happened in my life as a direct result of what was going on in the world. I mean, my background was huge sort of corporate software companies, doing enterprise deals, with massive corporate companies, and literally overnight, sort of, I think it's about a £3.5 million pipeline just disappeared because of the pandemic. I was working in financial services at the time.
Bloody hell.
Sort of mainstream financial services got hit really hard. Everyone saw the pensions take a nosedive. I know I nearly burst into tears when I looked at mine during the pandemic. They lost about 40%. But you scale that up to some of the companies out there that are managing $50 billion, $50 billion, £50 billion portfolios of different sort of packages of sort of finance and investments. 40% of 50 billion quid. It's a lot of money, and
still leaves me with enough money to buy lunch though. I mean, I kind of feel for them in a really serious way. I feel more for you though, sir, because I'm sure that you haven't got a £50 billion pension.
No, not at all. Not at all. I wish I had.
So in terms of the, so how long has Peakeze been running?
They've both been running about the same amount of time. So
oh my God.
I started pulling all the stuff for Peakeze together. I had this idea last year, early part of last year, and we'll come on to something in a second as well, which will kind of make sense of all this. But I came up with the idea the early part of last year, and I got the logo designed and the branding. And I had this idea for Peakeze as a business. And I started pulling little bits and bobs together. And then obviously I got told in May that I was going to be made redundant. So it was like, right, I need to hit the gas on this now. And then obviously I got offered the work for Salesology, and that started to take off as well. And as I say, they've both kind of developed lives of their own. But I got hit with kind of a double whammy. I got made redundant, which actually threw our plans as a family into complete disarray. We were buying a farm in Yorkshire, right smack bang in the middle of the North Yorkshire moors, and Peakies was going to be a sort of a walking business around the North Yorkshire moors, and we had holiday cottages with the property that we bought, and it all kind of dovetailed into each other quite nicely, and it wrapped up in a neat little package. I lost my job. It's really, really difficult to get a mortgage when you've got no income. My wife is self-employed, so it all kind of flushed itself down the toilet fairly quickly. But Peakies was something that I still wanted to pursue. Without, I mean, obviously the sort of walking trips and the walking tours sort of fell away from that plan. But my ideas around sort of mindfulness within walking and back to nature and the whole mental and physical health benefits still had legs, in my opinion.
Of course. Even more so, mate. 12 months later, even more so.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to do at the moment is it's kind of pulling together different sort of branded products. And yeah, I mean, what it's about for me on the product side is making quality products accessible to everybody. Because you can go and buy a set of sticks for £10, but you're going to buy another set next year, and probably going to buy another set the year after that. What I want to try and do is give people a quality product at a reasonable price point. Because if you start going for some of the bigger makes, the more expensive makes, just talking specifically about sticks, you'll pay an absolute fortune for them. They'll last forever. But what I want to do is try and give you that quality, but at a reasonable price.
I mean, I know nothing about walking other than I know how to walk.
Yeah.
And
you don't need to know anything else.
And stuff.
Left, right, that's it. Left, right, repeat.
All this talk of sticks and things. Are we talking about people who need an aid to walk, or does a stick? I mean, does a stick help you when you're walking?
It's a common misconception. I mean, I had the same thing when I first started. It's like, I don't need sticks. I'm too young for stuff like that. But actually, sticks can really help. They help posture while you're walking. I mean, if you go walking and you've got a rucksack on, most people will take a rucksack with some sandwiches and what have you, and you go in up a hill, your back will start aching, and you've probably experienced it yourself. You're walking up a hill because your natural posture when you're going uphill, your body's trying to counteract the effect of the hill, so you lean forward, which puts strain on the base of your back. If you've got sticks out in front of you, they can help keep you upright and keep your back straight.
Hell.
And that
I didn't. No one has ever told me. Honest to God. Now you're saying it. No one has ever said that to me, and it absolutely makes bloody sense because you are kind of. Oh, all right.
you see people sort of walking around with the sticks and they've got them set to the wrong height. The ideal height to have your sticks set to
down here rather than
so you should have them about 2/3 of your total height. So I think the calculation is whatever your height is in centimeters, you times that by 0.67 or 0.7 to be precise, and that's how high you stick.
I had seen those guys with like.
So you kind of you can get some leverage and pull on those. The other thing that it does, if you're going on a long walk, you don't necessarily need to use the sticks all the time, but they can help sort of pull you along if your legs are getting tired. And it does really take the strain off your legs. But the big thing with it is posture, and when you're walking up a hill, that can really help to keep you back straight. But it is a common misconception.
Every time you say walking up a hill, I keep thinking of Kate Bush. Remember what was I about earlier about singing songs? I'm walking up a hill. So many people watching. So me and Rob were singing to each other. Well, I was singing, and then Rob told me that he used to burst into the song at work, and people used to give me strange looks. Though, that's fantastic. That is, and I imagine that's just a small bit of knowledge that you can share with people around walking and getting.
I mean,
full benefit.
I get people giving me a call on lots of different things. I give advice to people about boots.
Fantastic.
It's all kinds of stuff. I mean, I've done the National Three Peaks Challenge. There's a whole backstory associated with Peakies as well, which I can go into if you really want me to.
Okay, are you guys all right? All right? Yeah, go on, carry on, man. Tell us more. I didn't really get into walking until about 2018. And I was working in London. I had a job for a big corporate company in London, traveling down there all the time, and just constantly feeling tired. And I'd had this problem for years. It didn't matter how much I slept. I could sleep for 18 hours and I'd wake up feeling tired. I couldn't get my head around it. And my wife told me that she thought I had sleep apnea and that I stopped breathing in the night, snore really badly. So I went and spent the night at Heartlands Hospital, covered in cables and monitors and all sorts of stuff, and slept there. And got up in the morning, turned around to the guy and said, I don't think I slept, mate. You know, all these cables and stuff. I just kept waking up. And he went, oh, don't worry. He went, we got what we need. Went back a month later, and I got diagnosed with chronic sleep apnea. So unless I wear my mask, I've got an oxygen mask now that I sleep in. I actually wake up every 2 minutes. So oh my God.
I stop breathing every 2 minutes, which disturbs my sleep.
Even if no matter how you're lying, whether it's on your front, your back.
Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't matter how I'm lying.
And can it be cured? Can it be solved?
No, apparently it's uncurable. You've just got to wear this mask. I've got to wear a mask for the rest of my life now when I sleep. But it can be life-threatening, and people have died from it. And it was. But I got quite emotional when the consultant told me, because it's almost like everything kind of makes sense. You know, I couldn't understand why. I was just feeling tired all the time, and I wore my mask for about 2 or 3 weeks and just had a new lease of life. And decided that I was going to start going out walking regularly. I'm not one to do things by half, so I decided I was going to do the National Three Peaks. That led on to the Yorkshire Three Peaks.
How many miles is that?
Which the National Three Peaks or the Yorkshire Three Peaks? The National Three Peaks is more about endurance. So you do Ben Nevis, Scafell, and Snowdon within 24 hours. That's the challenge. So you start off at Ben Nevis, you climb Ben Nevis, you come down Ben Nevis, you drive to Scafell Pike, you go up and down Scafell Pike, then drive to Snowdon, and you finish when you get to the summit of Snowdon, and you've got to do all of that in 24 hours.
Right there, though. So that's Scotland, then all the way to North Wales.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, pretty much North
Scotland, wow. Lake District, North Wales. It's about 10 hours driving. So the walking, it's around about 20 miles, I think. 18, 20 miles.
There's no sleep. There's no sleep though, is there? Or not much sleep?
We planned it so we should have all got about 5 hours sleep. I can tell you now that didn't happen. It didn't.
I know what you guys are like. Because as soon as he down tools, like, oh, you don't got any beers. Oh, fantastic! Hey, Maria, thanks for joining us, honey. Good to see you. Oh, I'll tell you what, Rob. I mean, mate. I mean, we better press on because people think these two are like two old bloody granddads. Gassy, they're like they're sat in the pub now, just talking to each other. Oh, how you doing, mate? Get us another pint when you go to the bar. Rob, my favourite question. This is actually.
Go on.
Tell us one thing about you that not many people know about.
Oh God.
That's my full of impression.
One thing that people don't know.
Yeah. Or very not very many people know.
I'm quite into stargazing. Not many people know that about me. I've got a telescope, and I quite like. I mean, it's not a really powerful telescope, so I spend most of the time looking at the moon. But yeah,
which is amazing anyway.
Yeah, you do occasionally get to see, the likes of Jupiter and there was a time a few weeks ago when they were all sort of aligned, and you could,
up, yes.
so you could see Saturn and Jupiter and that kind of thing. But the telescope that I use isn't that powerful, so I do spend a lot of time looking at the moon, and not a lot of people know that apart from my wife. So there you go, you heard it here first.
So do you do you believe that there are other beings out there in the stars?
There's got to be. There's got to be.
I'm still trying to get over why we haven't been to the other side of the moon yet, but the dark side of the moon. Obviously, it's dark, so you need lots of torches and stuff. But what's going on over there? I want to know what's happening on the other side. It's all real. It's nice.
They've actually found water deposits on Mars, haven't they? Because they've had the suspicion that Mars was almost entirely covered in water, like the Earth was. And what they found in some of the craters in Mars, because they're so deep, they've remained pretty cold, and they found ice deposits. There could be life within those. But I think the big thing for me is I look up at the stars, and every single one of those stars is a sun. It's got a chance. It's got planets. Absolutely. Yeah, so there's millions of those up there. There's got to be something else. Yeah.
I reckon there's something else. I reckon there's another Nigel up there, you know. And he's got hair. He can sing in tune. In fact, let's see if he's here now. Right, before we press on, hey Stephanie. Stephanie, really enjoyed what you said about your journey, the sleep apnea.
Thank you.
And the fact that you've gone on to the 3 peak challenge. And
I'm told that it's quite inspiring, but I don't really get that. It's just kind of reaction to situations. That's kind of how I see it.
I think obviously because you've gone through it and you've come out the other side, but to hear, you know, because the thing is, for sleep apnea, you can replace that with lots of other misdiagnosed things that people have gone through, where they've got to a stage and the reality has been, this is what and they've gone, oh my God, I can't believe it, because they then look back at their years and think, that's why I did or reacted.
It all makes sense. So, that was the big thing for me. It all just dropped into place, and I went, oh my God, that's what's been happening.
And that's why it's inspiring, because it shows people that, look, there's no war. You know, if there's something going on, generally you can manage it, solve it, cure it, learn to live with it. And you certainly have learned to live with it, because some people would have said, right, I'm wearing a mask, that's it now. I'm going to sit in the house all day and feel sorry for myself. No, you said, hey, let me climb some mountains. Ain't no mountain high enough. Couldn't resist that one. Oh dear. Hey Maria, thank you so much. Yes, my energy is a little bit infectious. I try my best. It's you people watching and making me feel good. And Stephanie agrees, it is bad times will always build strong people. I hear you. Absolutely. Definitely. Hallelujah. Rob, so we're coming close to our time. We've got a couple more questions. Tell us, what advice would you give somebody who wanted to start a business right now, who are thinking, that Rob sounds like he's not, he's pulling up trees, man. I want to do what he does. I'm going to do it. What advice would you give those people? What tips? Give me 3 tips.
Do something that you love. That's the first thing.
Boom, like that.
Yeah, do something that you enjoy doing. I'm a firm believer. I mean, my background is big corporates. I've said this before. Never enjoyed work. Never enjoyed working for other companies. Again, like the curing of the sleep apnea, working for myself has kind of given me a new lease of life. 12 months ago, you'd have seen a completely different guy sat in front of you here. So just do something that you enjoy, do something that you love, do something that you're passionate about. Don't be scared. Don't listen to other people. Don't let them tell you that it won't work. If you think it will work, keep your mind on the goal. What do you want to achieve? Where do you want to take it? The plan will change. Plans are fluid, but just the goal should stay the same. Don't ever change the goal. Yeah. Craft the plan.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Change the plan. I like that. Yeah, that's fantastic, mate. I mean, you do always one more, but I'm going to let you off. Oh, fantastic. So, Rob, is there anything that the people watching, listening, lurking behind curtains can do to support you in your business going forward?
Yeah, I mean, take a look at the website. I'll pop all the details and stuff.
Please.
It's not necessarily about I want you to buy something off it, because I'm still kind of building that side up. But have a look at the articles on there. There's lots of stuff around walking for well-being. There's some pieces that I've written in the blog area, and some introductions to me and kind of my story and bits and bobs. But all the contact details are there as well. You know, if there's anything else you want from me, sort of reach out. I'll put my email address and the phone number and what have you in the comments on the Facebook chat, and feel free to reach out if you want advice. If you're thinking about getting into walking, more than happy to talk to anyone about that.
A lot of people, you know, walking has become their new thing. They actually, you know, even myself, I even though previous to COVID, I mean, you know, I was a lazy kid. I'd jump in the car to go down to the shop. I wouldn't dream of starting the engine now to go to the shop. It's like, put my shoes on, put my Apple Watch, set it, and I'm off.
Yeah.
I went out on my bike. I went out on my bike for the first time for a long time on Sunday. Absolutely loved it. Oh, I got back. I was like, oh, my legs are all wobbly. And I was like, oh, I feel really tired. I'm going to have some sleep. But it was great. Loved it. Got to get back out there again now. Fantastic. Maria says, and one more to add value, make sure the ones in the boat with you are not drilling old holes in it. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Maria. You know, absolutely right there. Make sure you're surrounded with people who are on an upward journey like you, or can support you on your journey while you support them. And anyone who's a bit too negative and is like, oh, you don't want to do that, leave them to it. Right, people, we're going to finish. I do apologize again that we were late. Technical hitch. Zoom has changed its access token, something. I've got to try and figure that out, because, you know, I got another one of these on Thursday with a lovely Victoria King, who's a Pinterest marketing wizard. So if you like Pinterest, you need to tune in for that one.
Pinterest's a mystery.
Don't go anywhere. I'm getting there. Don't go anywhere. So we'll have a little debrief afterwards. People, have a fantastic rest of the day. Make sure you get out into the sunshine. It's a nice day out there. It's going to be 16 degrees here in the UK. So go and enjoy. And I'll catch all of y'all later.
Thanks, guys. So yeah.
Take care. Bye.